Welcome to a Greek Natura 2000 site. The Gialova Lagoon. Located in the Messina region of Greece, this impressive body of water is part of a rift valley created by earthquakes. The Gialova Lagoon has a large variety of nature types and acts as a habitat for thousands of species. On land, in the water, and in the skies. It's therefore essential to protect and preserve this unique region, as well as identify possible threats to the landscape. Historically, humans have made significant changes to the lagoon. The lagoon currently consists of salt water. However, this probably hasn't always been the case. Findings of rice and typha have revealed a dramatic change in the salinity level of the lagoon. These freshwater plants would never survive in the salty conditions of present day. In fact, the lagoon once consisted of brackish water and therefore had a significantly lower salinity level than today. The cause of this dramatic change is a large-scale regional project from the 60s. The lagoon was to be drained in order to expand crop fields. A pump house was built to do the job. Which still stands there to this day. Local residents recall sometimes being able to walk and even drive cars across the drained lagoon during this time. The project was, however, unsuccessful, and in the 70s it was decided that the lagoon was to be refilled in order to resume fishing. A canal was dug, connecting the lagoon to the sea, filling it with salt water. Thus generating the lagoon we know today. The salt water gave rise to new habitats, such as the salt meadows, and new species were established. Human interference has, however, limited the habitats of multiple other species in and around the lagoon. The Gialova Lagoon is in need of protection and care. That's why the lagoon is part of a network of protected areas around the European Union, the Natura 2000. It's the world's largest cooperative network for preservation of natural habitats and species. This inclusive project covers 18% of the EU's landmass and 6% of its marine areas. It guarantees a sustainable future for Europe's natural life. Natura 2000 is divided into two subdivisions of protection: a Birds Directive and a Habitats Directive. These two directives, each containing different methods for preserving animal and plant life, are set up so that the member states themselves select certain areas which are to be protected and part of the Natura 2000 network. This identification process has to be entirely based on scientific data. It's then every member state's responsibility to make sure their areas are well managed both ecologically and economically. This includes species protection, site protection, and monitoring hunting in the area. The lagoon, once again, is protected under these two directives. These wetlands serve as a natural habitat for birds migrating between Africa and Northern Europe. there are more than 250 species of birds in the Gialova Lagoon, such as the eastern imperial eagle, as well as herons, flamingos, and many other wading birds. The lagoon also serves as residence for a large amount of mammals, reptiles, amphibians, and insects. One prominent example is the African chameleon. The region of the Gialova Lagoon is actually the only place in Europe where an established population of the African chameleon can be found. This rare reptile is very well suited to a hot climate and is thought to have come to the area during the time of the Roman Empire. Another rare species in the area is the sea turtle, Caretta caretta, which every year crawls on land to lay its eggs in the sand dunes. People like to use these sand dunes as walkways, which causes reinforcing vegetation such as the juniper bush to be destroyed. The sand dunes are thereby weakened, allowing the shoreline to erode away by the waves. Increasing tourism in the area means that this erosion is happening at a faster rate. This is a threat to both the African chameleons and the Caretta caretta turtles, as they use these sand dunes for nesting, and without these habitats face a risk of extinction. Solutions to these threats could be placing signs nearby that inform tourists about the damages they do, as well as creating paths around the sand dunes. Tourists are not only threatening the integrity of the sand dunes. The outer edges of the salt meadows have also been compromised and eroded into the lagoon as tourists choose to walk there. A redirection of the pathway is needed away from the shoreline. Footbridges have been implemented around the salt meadows in order to prevent this erosion, but as of today, maintenance of these are lacking and visitors once again walk across the salt meadows. It's easy to feel pessimistic considering the threats humans pose to the area. However, this should be seen as an opportunity. An opportunity to create a venue where humans can experience nature at its best. An opportunity to establish ecological tourism where education is the thesis instead of exploitation. Making people aware of the damage they can cause and guiding them towards respect for nature will be key moving forward. The implementation of walkways and bird viewing tours are great examples of ways to promote human activity in the area without impacting the environment, and at the same time creating opportunity for education, because banning human activity will not only close off a spectacular natural wonder, but would also drive through a top-down stance where politicians, CEOs and scientists are forcing decisions upon others without acknowledging their stakes and interests. Instead, having dialogues between the different parties and taking every perspective into consideration is the way to solve these wicked problems. The Gialova Lagoon shall therefore not be considered a problematic area, but rather an area where ecological, social and economical development shall intertwine and flourish together.